what a fantastic job that was. You know, thinking back on that trip, when you see the players running, London traffic is worse than Seattle traffic. I'm not lying. We landed, we had to get on the bus right away. The first game that we went to was the Charity Shield match, which hits the FA Cup winner, which was Arsenal, against the league winner last year, which was Chelsea. That's my team. But we got there late, and so to get on the bus, so when they basically let us off, and we had to sprint to the game. So a little warm up. And then we did that, and then that park that you saw us go to was St. George's Park, which is the national training center for all the English national teams. So it's where they stay when they have training camps and preparation for things. Other groups, there's a hotel right there, a nice Hilton hotel. Could have stayed there a couple more nights, but and we got to train on the outdoor fields that you saw are exact replicas of Wembley, which is the national stadium for England, and that's where we saw the Charity Shield game. And so the surface and everything is exactly the same. We actually trained on the indoor facility that you saw there for a session, and then moved on to the next day. Then we moved up to Manchester. The trip was great. Our first game was against, I think, Blackburn Rovers, and it was interesting. You know, you never know how foreign clubs are going to take American teams. And the first half we played, I think, their reserve team, and I think the score was 3-0 at halftime. And then the coach comes up to me about 5 minutes before halftime and says, yeah, we're going to put out a brand new team in the second half. I was like, oh, okay. We're going to bring out our first team. They've been doing a fitness test, so they're not completely fresh. But I'm like, oh, okay, gotcha. So the second half was a little harder. Certainly their second group was much better, and I think we ended up winning 3-2. But it was a great start. And then from there, we went up. We stayed up at Manchester, and you saw one of the stadiums that we toured, which is Old Trafford. What an unbelievable stadium! A hotel right outside it. The tour guide we had was I think he's been a Manchester United fan for 30, 40 years, an elderly gentleman there that you saw. But did a nice stadium tour, and you can see all the photos. It's unbelievable. I mean, it's the largest club stadium in England, holds 70,000+. So a real awesome place to be a part of. Our second game was against Manchester City. So while we're there, and you saw the practice field. What an unbelievable facility! You had to go through 2 gates, actually get into it. Very private, top class. Their field, the Emirates, no, not the Emirates, the Etihad is right across the street from where their training facility is, and they've got, multiple fields, and we played there. So the clubs over there, the more money they have, their teams are in the Super League. So Manchester City's first team plays in the English Super League over there, and they have 4 players that played this past summer. The World Cup for England were on the Manchester City team. So we played their reserve team, and they were very good. We did a lot of defending that game. We were up 1-0 at halftime on a corner, and then they started to drill us a little bit in the second half, and it got 3-1. We scored a really good goal. I think Kaylee scored the second goal there on the counterattack to make it 3-2. But I mean, it was a great game for us, and those are the sort of games that we wanted, not easy games. But it was a really fantastic team, all 16 to 18-year-old, like younger players, but boy, they could play. So, but a great experience, and the facility was unbelievable. And then you saw some of the episodes where they were sleeping and playing soccer, tennis. That was when we were out watching the men's games. And so they played at a little bit different facilities and venues than we did. It wasn't by design. Just I think sometimes, the standard of soccer, when you go over there to England to play men's, they could not play the Manchester City men's reserve team. That would be like 12-0. So it's finding the right level of competition for both groups, and so a little bit different venues. But it was actually kind of cool. The first one I went to was a quaint little stadium out in the middle of nowhere, and the players were great. They formed up a little soccer tennis game, and it was kind of like a pasture in the field, but and then there were some better facilities from there, some turf facilities. So, but it was awesome that 2 programs got to go and support each other. And I don't know if 2 programs at PLU could be that close for that long, on the same bus, in the same hotel, always on the same itinerary, always watching each other's games for the most part, for 10 days, 24/7. And remarkably, both teams got along great, which I think is a real testament to the sorts of people that we have in both programs, what John does with the men's program, and just the camaraderie between both. You can see him supporting at both of the games in the fall as well. So from there, we went back down to London, and you can see we played, the last team we played was Crystal Palace, and that was a real spirited game. Nice little park there. I think we won 4-1 that game. Is that right? Yeah. But the game was actually a lot closer than the score. but it was a great way to finish our thing. And then you can see the kind of the tour of London that we took. We took a little riverboat cruise and walked around the city and Big Ben, Parliament, all the other things that we saw, Buckingham Palace. So got a day in London and we took off. So I think, you know, obviously an unbelievable trip. For the freshmen, don't worry. I've told them that I plan on doing that every 4 years. It is something that's just remarkable, and I think when you read a lot of the senior handouts that the 4 seniors put in, you know, one of the first things to say what's one of the most memorable things that you had here at PLU for the women's soccer program, and it was that trip. So certainly we do it again, and I want to say thanks to everybody for all their fundraising efforts and helping your daughters go, because I know that as parents, you paid some of that as well. And so we do appreciate that. I know your daughters appreciate that. They'll tell you thank you too, because, you know, when it's all said and done, it was an unbelievable experience. So, anyways, moving on. We moved into preseason, so we came home, then we had a week off. So we moved into preseason. Our normal preseason deal, we actually were allowed a second scrimmage this year due to NCAA rules. So we played Canadian school almost right away, after a couple days after we started camp, the Victoria Island University. Good game, actually a pretty good team. We tied them. And then we moved on to play SPU up in Seattle. Lost 2-1. So that was, you know, but 2 great games for us, and that was our first time playing a Division II school. And I was real thankful that Artie gave me the opportunity to come up there and play. And I think it really helped us prepare. We did our normal team building activities, did a couple team dinners. We went to dinner out after the SPU game to Red Robin. We did a whole spaghetti factory here, our normal putt-putt golf. And we did go see a movie that kind of spawned some t-shirts. We went and saw Straight Outta Compton as a team. And that sparked some t-shirts straight out of Parkland. The last day, the last practice, well, John kind of set the tone. He made shirts for all the guys. And of course, you know, you get the constant Roz, when are we going to get ours? And so I eventually relented, and they didn't get the performance t-shirts like the guys did. They just got the regular t-shirts, but they did get theirs at the end of the season. So, it was a kind of a unique thing, a model for us this year. And then we moved into we took our first trip to Minnesota, and that's the first time that, you know, our last couple of years we've gone to California. So this year we decided to go back to the Midwest and play a couple MIAC schools. We played Concordia and University of St. Thomas, both there. So we did well. We won both, 1-0 against Concordia, 3-0 against St. Thomas. We went to the Mall of America. Amazing place. If you've never been there, amazing place. A full-size amusement park inside the mall. So we let the team spend the day there in between. Came home, and then we hosted our own tournament with Hamlin, another Minnesota school, and Cal Lutheran coming up here. The Hamlin game, 4-0 at halftime. Second half comes around, you know, debating on what to do. Didn't really want to put some players back in, but, you know, rest team, but decided to, and we kind of had our second major injury of the year, which was Kaylee Roselle, who's certainly been one of our top players her freshman and sophomore year. So she tore her ACL on a shot that she's taken probably 100 times, and there's no reason why those things happen. Sometimes it just happen, and so that went down, and certainly that was a turning point for me in the season, because, you know, as a coach, honestly and frankly and candidly, when you lose Lauren, who was our top goal scorer the last 3 years, and you lose Kaylee, who was been voted our outstanding freshman or offensive MVP the last 2 years, you're wondering, how are we going to score? You know, we have Michaela, who had 6 goals her freshman year, and, you know, I'm sitting there going, wow, I have no idea how this season's going to go. We're 3-0 right now. We play Cal Lutheran in a day, or whenever we played them 2 days later, I think the next day, and you're wondering how's it going to go, because, you know, you just don't know. You don't know. Which really makes this season really special for me, to see the sorts of people that stepped up to help us have the season that we had. So we played great. We beat Cal Lutheran 4-0 the next day. I mean, I was like, oh, okay, we're going to be okay. Because in 2013, we played them over in Spokane, and we lost 4-0. We got absolutely destroyed. We went down to California last year and played them and tied them 0-0, and then we won 4-0. So I think it also shows the evolution, how our program has evolved, because that is a top team out of Southern Cal every year, a playoff team, a championship SCIAC team, you know, all those sorts of things. And, you know, within 3 years, we've reversed that trend. So 4-0 or 4-0 in preseason, so a really great start. First time we've done that in a long time. And then we started our conference play. We opened up with UPS at home, which was a good game, 0-0. We took our first loss against Willamette. And again, I think when I think back to all 3 losses this year that we had, we actually played well. You know, sometimes as coaches and players, you don't know what it looks like while it's going on and you're frustrated, you're upset, you don't think you played that well, you don't think your team played that well. And then you watch it on the amazing videos that Dave Robinson put together and you go, we played pretty good. And you know, sometimes the game, you get breaks that go against you, and we got a weird penalty kick, and you know, it's just one of those deals, and credit to them. But from there, we bounced off and won lots of games. We won both over in the Witzigen, which is a hard road trip. We've done that 2 years in a row now. We've gone 2-0, and continued our trend. Won, I think, 6, 7, 8 in a row, and then we played UPS again over there. And again, even though we lost 1-0, I mean, it was for me, it was an NCAA playoff sort of game for our program. I mean, those of you that watched the game, it was a great game. And a set piece decided it. A set piece decided it. And credit to them. They worked us a little bit on a set piece in 85th minute, and credit to them. You know, they got the goal. But as obviously UPS has been kind of the benchmark of our season, you know, we played 180 minutes, very, very even. I mean, a moment on a set piece kind of decided the difference between the two programs this year when you look at both games. So I was not unhappy with how we played at all. I thought we played great. And I know that it was disappointing. I know that our team and our players put a lot into that game emotionally. You know, there's a lot of tears after that game. But I was not unhappy, and I tried to tell them, hey, this is not going to define us. We still have everything to play for. And, you know, I think, again, I was so proud of the next game we played George Fox, where we bounced back and just, you know, we had an outstanding offensive performance in terms of shots and corners. And won that game 3-0, and then we came up to senior weekend. Senior weekend, coaches hate Halloween on college campuses, by the way, just going to tell you that. A lot of potential distractions out there, but I felt good about the plan that we came up with in place to make sure that we keep our focus. And I told the team there's a lot of, no pun intended, there's a lot of vampires, energy vampires out there that can suck the energy out of you. And it takes a lot to win. Winning is not easy. And I'm really proud of the discipline that we kept over that weekend. Mac found a way to get a goal with a couple seconds left against Whitman for us to win that game on Halloween. And then you have senior day on Sunday against Whitworth, which is a tough opponent. And you know, what a dramatic fashion. I mean, if you could script it any better, other than the rain. So we had no audio, we had no nothing. We took a really huddled, cold group picture in the middle of the field, and then shoot everybody off. But for, you know, Taylor to find that magic touch in the end to win in overtime and the big celebration, I was on the video there too. Just wanted to make sure the whole team saw that. So, I do get excited when we win. But, and then we actually did our little senior day ceremony up in the team room. So that was a first. Never had parents in a post-game meeting, but hey, it's all about being, you know, full disclosure here on what we do. And they came up and watched us do our little ceremony, and it was great that Dave taped it and actually put it on some of the DVDs for the seniors, so they have that as a memory. So a little different senior day, but again, we won 2-1 against Whitworth in overtime, and then we kind of approached the final weekend. I know that there's, you know, certainly obviously we all know what happened. We played on Saturday against Linfield in a swamp. Really surprised that we played there, but boy, I thought we played good. I mean, I thought we played good in terms of our process. You know, obviously we didn't score a goal. And that's something that we need to look at in our last weekend, because scoring 1 goal in 2 games, if you're going to win a conference championship or be that team that makes the playoffs, that's got to improve. But I thought overall that's the best we've ever played at Linfield in my time here, and I was really proud of how we played. And it was not an easy, I mean, if you parents had to go out there and try to play that stuff, you'd understand how difficult it was. And you know, I was really proud of our process. And we moved into the final day, you know, against Pacific, and hey, for a lot of reasons, sometimes things don't go our way. I think that on the final weekend, you know, and I've met with every player, by the way, and this year's last weekend was a lot different than last year's last weekend. And only the players and coaches would, and maybe as parents you see it, maybe you don't, but I can tell you that the way that your daughters and your players handled the pressure of the weekend, the expectations, how they played, 100 times better, 100 times better. So we did improve this last weekend. And the narrative will be there only if it's a narrative. It's not a narrative. I told the team after the game, we have to continue to mature. There is a process that we have to go through. Alex Ferguson, who's the most decorated manager in England, won everything there is to win. It took him 6 years to win his first English Premier League title. Almost got fired. If he almost didn't win it that last year, I don't think that's going to happen to me, but hope not. Jessica put in a good word. You know, right before that 6th year, he won his first championship, and then off he went. So what I tried to tell the players is we have to continue to improve. And when we're ready to take that next step, we will be ready. But I thought that we improved from 2014 to 2015 in how we dealt with the end of the season. Because certainly, things come into focus. We talked a lot about pressure. We talked about pressure being our friend. Pressure is great. If you think about it, every day there's a line in life that you either live above it or below it. And if you choose to live above it, pressure can be your friend because it helps narrow your expectations. It makes us who the people that we are. Without that, would we really be on time, work as hard as we do, all those sorts of things. So pressure is a great thing that helps us become better people. It helps really refine our focus, narrow what we're supposed to do, and push us to be the best players and people that we can be. And so that's kind of how we approached it this year. And I thought they did great. I thought the mentality on ready to go into the games was there. Sometimes things happen for weird reasons. There is no reason why. They just happen. That's sports. You can look at countless examples and understand that. But, so I told the team as we grow to mature, and we continue to get better with our soccer, our technique and our tactical ability and how we deal with some of the games, we'll be ready to take that next step. And I was really proud overall of the growth. So that was kind of the final weekend. And I think that my final thoughts before we get into some of the accomplishments as a team on the 2015 season is we talked a lot, I talk a lot to the players about, our vision statement for PLU women's soccer is to be excellent in 3 areas. And that's personal growth, academics, and winning. And that's kind of how we put things in order. And for me, person is greater than player here. And I think that when you don't necessarily have all the, you don't watch your daughters grow like I do as a coach and stuff like that. But to see the level of growth that this team showed from day one to now, from the seniors when they were freshmen to the sophomores to they were juniors, it's just an awesome thing. And it's seriously the most rewarding thing about this job is to watch them grow as people. And I think that's why sports is such a great vehicle because it helps us get us ready for those challenges and adversity in life. Because you can really transfer the lessons that you encounter with and combat in sports and put that into real life. And so, I know we have great people in this program. Some examples, for example, the last weekend we had Christy and Lauren and come down to support the team at Linfield. They were injured all year. They gave us little Cliff Bars. I even got one with names on it before we left. The last weekend, our goalkeeper Takara had clinical, and Jordan, she couldn't come down to the team bus because we wanted her to finish that out. So Jordan offered to drive her down on a Friday night on her own. Jordan Haggerty to be with the team. So those are some examples of the people that we have in our program. And I think I'm a firm believer in that character drives winning. And we have great character and great people, and that will help us, continue on our winning traditions that we've set here in the last 4 years. So overall, I'm very proud of the team. Okay, so some accomplishments. Once again, the best season since we've had since 1992. 2011, we had 4 wins before we got here. 2012, we had 6. 2013, we had 11. 2014, we had 14. And 2015, we had 15. Hey, maybe 2016, we can have 16. We finished with a 15-3-2 record, 11-3-2 in Northwest Conference, and we took 2nd place outright, which is the highest finish. We led the Northwest Conference in goals with 38. We led the Northwest Conference in assists with 31. We had 15 players record an assist, which tied a program record, which was set in 1995. We had 14 corner kicks against George Fox that game at home, and that tied the team record set in 1992 for most in a game. One note about corner kicks, I do know one thing we'll be working on next year. We had 106 corners, and we scored 1 goal. So, got it. We had 13 shutouts, which was 2nd in Northwest Conference play. The 9 goals that we allowed was the fewest since 1987, when the PLU team set a program record with 6. And we were first in attendance. Thanks to you, Northwest Conference attendance. Again, we had averaged around 200 a game. 200 a game at our home games. And we also were ranked nationally in the NSCA Coaches Poll 4 times, 21st, 20th, 17th, and 23rd, respectively, which in 2014 we were ranked 1. So for 4 weeks we enjoyed kind of top 25 recognition. So overall, as you can see, it's not necessarily where, it's making the NCAA tournament certainly is the ultimate goal, but as you hear those things, those are obviously, again, all accomplishments. Sometimes you wonder how are you going to do better, but you can see overall it was a really good year. Okay, what I want to do now is invite up each of the players. So coaches, could you, we're going to do a little group photo. So we're going to have them come up and get their certificates, letters, and pins. We'll do a little team photo, and then we'll start to get into some of the individual awards.